Welcome to the Badger Den. Glad for you to join me today. Let's dig in. Will the blue cities actually get some safety? Right now we got Chiraq, New York, and LA in Trump's targets to doing the crackdown just like he did in DC. Now DC is federalized, so that's part of his purview. Chiraq, New York, and LA are not. Can he do what he claims that he can do? Deranged judges. We're going to go through a litany of judges who are abusing their power. Most recently, we also have a Fed member who claims that she's not doing anything illegal, even though she's probably committed mortgage fraud and refuses to resign. Even though every time a Fed chair or Fed governor, rather, has been caught red-handed, they've resigned with dignity. She's, of course, a DEI hire, so she doesn't want to. And if the illegals are getting a Social Security, are they voting? And how much Social Security are they taking from us? Gather around, guys. Dig in. And don't be a commie. Subscribe. We got to beat those commies. All right, Chiraq. Trump says Chicago is next for DC-style federal law enforcement operation. If you don't know, where have you been? But DC has essentially been locked down. I won't say locked down for criminals, for those who are out there purveying and stealing people's wares. And that has all stopped. How well and how much do they like it there in DC? Apparently, they like it a lot. About a 90% approval for what Trump has done from the people who actually live there, not the libtards who are running around and screaming with their rainbow hair. So Rainbow Bright, I'm sorry, but the people who actually live there that you don't like, they like what Trump's done. So, I mean, they like to live in safety. I know you don't want them to, but they like it. Anyway, Trump says Chicago's a mess. Trump hinted that moving federal resources to New York after taking care of Chicago. He also called out LA. The people in Chicago are screaming for us to come. They are wearing red hats just like this one, referring to his Trump hat. Trump was right about America hat. The governor of Chicago. Now, this is clearly a situation here because technically, you have to have governor authorization to have National Guard troops be deployed within a specific state. So not sure how this is going to work out. Maybe it's just a game Trump is playing, basically showing, hey, Chicago, if you really wanted law and order, you need to get the Democrats out. Why do I say that? Because if you live in a Democratic-controlled S-hole, it's probably an S-hole. For example, here you got Pritzker saying, don't come to Chicago. Please don't make it better. We want everybody scared. Oh, what a blob. D.C., for example, D.C. has arrested over 800 suspects, and they have had a 14-day murder-free streak. That's pretty sad when you have to have a record of 14 days without a murder. And not only that, they've also come out and stated, as of this morning, they have now a week without a carjacking. I mean, that's really nice, though, right? 14-day, nobody's been killed. It's almost like small-town America, except small-town America goes for years. Good luck, D.C. I hope you see it. Now, here's kind of the rub. The murder rates in D.C. are 32 per capita. So D.C. is where we're at right here. Chicago is not that far off at 30. So Chicago would make sense why he would go after Chicago. However, there are other blue cities here who are much worse. Philadelphia, Dallas, and Houston are all blue-run S-holes. So it makes sense that they would be on here. LA and New York are sanctuary cities, so is Chicago. I think that's the real modus operandi here is essentially Trump is utilizing the sanctuary city policies to go in and clean out the illegals. Good for Trump. That's more than likely what he's going, because why would you skip over Houston, Dallas, and Philly when they are much worse than LA and New York? Just my thought, but if you're really going after crime, then wouldn't Houston and Dallas be on there as well? But you've got Abbott down there, and he's actually deporting people. So this probably is more than likely going after the illegal population. So good on Trump. That's why I put him in there. Get him out. Are you getting the picture yet? Kilmar Abrego. And if you go back in time to about 3 months ago when I started this channel, and you look at some of my early streams, I talked about Kilmar, where they stated that they were deporting him, and when they got him out of the country, I said, do not bring him back. And they talked about bringing him back to make him face justice. And I said, if you bring him back, the leftist judges would pull out their hair and do everything they could to prevent Kilmar from being deported again. Why? Because he's the new George Floyd. He's the new criminal they want to put up on high on a pedestal. Because again, the Democrats have no real heroes, so they have to frame a illegal human trafficker as their pedestal person that they want to say this is who we should all aspire to be like, which is absolutely insane. So now an Obama judge has now said, no, you cannot deport this person. Why? Because you need more evidence. They've already run the evidence through here. That's the reason he got deported to begin with. Is one, multiple judges, I believe it's 2 judges, have already reviewed the evidence against Kilmar, the Maryland man. No, he's an illegal. He's not due anything. He's due no due process. He's not a citizen of the United States. I don't care what you say, Rainbow Bright. He is not a citizen. He doesn't belong here. Get him out. And therefore, so Kilmar's back, and he's making amends, supposedly, and he's made out a statement which he cannot even say in English, saying that, oh, God will have me justice. Oh, there's going to be real justice for me. And he refused a plea deal in which he wouldn't have to face charges specifically for the human trafficking that he's done. But he doesn't want to go to Uganda. Yeah, the DOJ offered him a plea deal to where he could retire in Costa Rica. But of course, he doesn't want that. The left has gotten in his ear and said, no, man, we've got you. Who cares that you beat your wife? Who cares, that you're a gang member? Who cares that you've trafficked children? It's okay. We're going to take care of you, Kilmar. These are your heroes? These are your heroes, Rainbow Bright? Oh, my goodness. Look, another Obama-appointed judge orders the Alligator Alcatraz to shut down within 60 days. What they're doing here is this is another judge that is in a jurisdiction that the Alligator Alcatraz is not even in, so they don't even have jurisdiction over the land there. But they're saying that they cannot do this due to ecological concerns, which is absolutely insane. Another judge tried to do the same thing. So there's now 2 judges, one who is over the actual jurisdiction, another one that is not, again, Obama, who is basically making up stuff as they want to go to basically shut down and prevent deportations. I wonder why they're trying to prevent deportations of illegals. It's almost like they have a hidden agenda. Let's go to the next one because they just keep coming. The hits keep coming. A rogue judge just handed Media Matters its biggest weapon yet. If you do not know Media Matters, they basically are a pseudo arm of the Southern Poverty Law Center, another arm of the ADL. They're basically just absolutely schizoid nutbags. They basically shut down and try to do anything leftist. And what they have done is right here. Media Matters was accused of working with major advertising companies to form an economic cartel designed to foreclose market access to conservative media outlets. They targeted Breitbart, Daily Wire, Federalist, and more, and trying to eliminate competition. So what they did was they formed a cartel with all of the ad agencies and said, yeah, you can't advertise over here. So if this company goes, they join one of the ad agencies, the ad agency gets direction from Media Matters to where they will not generate any sort of income. And notice here, they didn't even list X. X is also on here. As soon as Elon bought X, Media Matters, that's where Elon got involved, and he basically targeted Media Matters to go for them, and their revenue dropped almost 80% overnight due to Media Matters. So this is a serious deal with anybody who's dealing with ads and you're on the conservative side. If true, such conduct would violate federal antitrust law, which prohibits such anti-competitive schemes. Given the gravity allegation, the FTC has launched an investigation with the kind of lawfare attacks that the left has perfected. Media Matters immediately sued to block the FTC from inquiring. So here's the crazy part. A lot of evidence showing that they're doing this. There's a lot. But now a judge has ruled you can't do the investigation. Wow. You can't even look into it because there's nothing to see here, because that would totally blow our cover that we're trying to drown out and destroy companies that have any sort of outside of the left-wing bubble. Because again, the left cannot handle when we start throwing sticks and stones at them because they live in a glass house. Court sides with university over jury in false rape case. Yeah, hate to see it. Clemson University student who was awarded $5.3 million after being falsely accused of assault must continue to fight for his award money. This gets insane, and this gets from the Me Too movement. Andrew Pampu was awarded money in April of 2022 after he sued his accuser, Erin Wingo, her father, and David, her ex-boyfriend, Colin Gauguin for defamation. But last month, South Carolina's Court of Appeals overturned the ruling and set a dangerous precedent that was quasi-judicial campus review tribunals carry the same weight as jury trials. Did you hear that right? They stated, this appeals court, that this cannot be adjudicated because it's already been tried at a college campus level. A college campus level where you basically get a bunch of leftoids from the school council and determine from their own left-wing agenda whether or not somebody's got guilt or innocence. There's no due process. There's no jury trial. They just form a tribunal and they make their own judgment. And guess what? He went through that. He was defamed. He sued, proving his court case. There are legit documents that I've read where basically the girlfriend and the boyfriend and the dad all sent text messages knowing that the guy never did it, but they were going to destroy his life anyway. So he sued. He won and won $5.3 million in damages, but now appeals court said, no, this doesn't count because even though that went through actual due diligence, due process, and jury trial, that's wrong because it's already been adjudicated at a lower court. That lower court is a bunch of yuppie hippies communist tribunal at the Clemson University Students' Council. How is that fair? This judge needs to be just brought out, feathered, and, well, I can't go any further, can I? Well, let's get you some good news. Save my money. Gotta save my money. Jaw-dropping announcement. President Donald Trump has declared 275,000 illegals have been kicked off Social Security. Again, we've had people who are over 160 years old, 120 years old, who are on the Social Security rolls. Why have we ended that? But regardless, at least we've kicked off the illegals who have had 275,000 of them who are on Social Security. 275,000 of them who have not paid in the system, who are taking our money. They have now been kicked off. How much money is that? How much money are we saving? So in an alternative article about a month ago, it's shown that when DOJ initially reviewed this, they showed that the illegals that are on the Social Security rolls were getting some of the maximum benefits. This is not even the maximum benefit that I've allocated here. This is the median benefit. This is if you retired at 65 and you paid the maximum in, not if you waited until, 70 or something and you retired and received the absolute maximum you can get. This is essentially the median, $4,000 per month, which equates to $48,000 a year, which for all those illegals saves us $13 billion a year that they were stealing from us. $13 billion illegals were stealing from us each year that they never put a dime into the system. They never put a dime into the system, and they're taking $13 billion a year. You do not hate your government enough, man. And you wonder why they try to shut down DOJ, because DOJ was finding the corruption, and thankfully we're sending these small little trickle drops where hopefully we can see this snowball and get bigger and bigger, because we've got to cut it down, man, because we've got to make it past 2030 where we've got a brick wall with are we still allowed to talk about Agenda 2030? I don't know, but anyway, we'll talk to you later, guys. Dig you later. Mouthy out.